guys, so this is going to be College Talk number 2, and this one is going to be about classes. So I've gotten a lot of questions about college classes, how they work, units, what that means, and that kind of thing. So hopefully this will give you some clarification. Again, as I'm going to say at the beginning of all my college videos, every college experience is different. My college may work their system a bit different from yours. My school is a really large university, so that may differ from a smaller one and stuff like that. So just keep that in mind. I'm going to tell you how my school works and that sort of thing. So let's get started. Alright, so I'm going to first go into how you sign up for classes. So for me anyway, we sign up online. There's a two windows, two passes is what they're really called. But basically you get to sign up for a certain amount of units the first pass so that everybody gets their chance to get classes, and then the second round starts where you get to sign up for the rest of them. So it's kind of pointless. They just implemented that. I don't know if it was the end of last year or this year, but yeah, they just decided that it was more fair that way. I don't think it is, but anyway. So for classes, at my school, each class, generally speaking, is worth 4 units. So that's like a full length class, I guess you could say. There are some that are worth 2 units, like most dance classes are 2 units, like the hip-hop class I took was 2 units. Also practicums, where you go on site somewhere, like I took some education studies classes, where you actually go on site to, what I did, I tutored and I mentored. So each of those practicums were worth 2 units. So the education classes were each, in total, worth 6 units. So I know physics, like their labs and stuff, there's a whole bunch of different unit counts. I don't really know exactly what those are, but, there's different amounts for that. But generally speaking, the average is 4 units. When you're signing up, there are also lower division and upper division classes. So our lower division classes are from 1 to 99, I believe, and then 100 and up are upper division classes. So generally speaking, lower division is for underclassmen, and then upperclassmen take the upper division classes, which kind of makes sense. But that's not really super restrictive there. You can get permission from a professor for some classes to take upper division classes. The hip-hop class that I took was considered an upper division, even though, you know, it was really basic. But I took that class when I was a freshman, so that's not a big deal. Just that kind of stuff. Some classes are going to have prerequisites. I feel like, prerequisites, which basically means you have to take a certain class before you can take that class. So in order to take a higher psych class, you have to take the basic psych classes first, that sort of thing. And that's, obviously it's better to get those prereqs done beforehand when you are a freshman or a sophomore, or I guess even a junior, before you can take the upper division classes that require them. Now, for those of you in high school who took AP classes, those AP credits are probably going to do you well, but sometimes they don't. For instance, I took Chem AP, I took Calc AB and BC AP, so I got those 3 classes did me well. So I didn't have to take, I only had to take 1 math class. I took multivariable calc my freshman year, and so I was done with all the math requirements. And then I only got 1 chem class bumped because I took Chem AP, so I got 1 class down, but I had to take more. So just know that some classes you'll be able to get rid of, but some you won't. Like I took Lit AP, I took Lit AP senior year of high school, but that didn't count for anything here. It might count somewhere else, but for me it didn't do anything, which I hated that class, and so now I'm just kind of bitter that... Anyway, moving on. Okay, so as far as the actual classes go, once you get there, so depending on what school you go to, there may be really humongous classes, like you would assume, like when you see them in the movies and stuff, or there are also very small classes, like high school size classes. So my largest class was roughly 420 students, which is huge, I know, but I love being in a big class. I don't like being called out, I don't like participating or anything. I'd rather just be an anonymous space in a crowd of people. I like that much more. So I generally like to take bigger classes, but they range anywhere from like 20 students to over 400 students. I've taken classes that are like 60 students. I've taken classes that are like 100 something, 200 something, you know, it really does range. I've also taken smaller classes that made me feel very uncomfortable, but you know, that's how that goes. But it really depends. So you'll be able to find out when you're signing up how many seats there are in the class, so don't worry about having to like research that or anything. Class length, so like how long each class is also going to vary by school, but for us, when we have 3 classes a week, so like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, each of those classes is 50 minutes. If we have Tuesday, Thursday classes, or like just 2-day classes, so maybe Monday, Wednesday, that's kind of a random one, but they do that sometimes, those classes are usually an hour and 20 minutes. So those are a bit longer, and Tuesday, Thursdays aren't my favorite days, but that's what happens. Also, sometimes there are classes that are only once a week, and those are usually for us 3 hours. So it just got darker. Awesome. So I have a Wednesday class right now that is from 5 to 8. I've also taken classes that go from 6 to 9. There are 3-hour classes. So they're pretty long. They usually give us a break in between, like a 10-15 minute break to just, you know, step back a bit, but those classes are a doozy. Depending on the class, there may be a discussion, which is an additional, usually like 50 minutes outside of the lecture. So they're called discussion or section, depending on who, they like to call them different things. But basically it's where the TAs run them, and each TA has their own discussion or section, and they either go over homework or discuss further. Some classes you have to go to discussion or section, like it's mandatory for your grade. Others you don't have to go, and it's not counted, just, you know, a supplement if you want to go. I hate discussion and sections just because I hate them. I've had very bad experiences when they're mandatory and they're just not fun. But I can see the benefit of going, just because if you are unclear about anything, if you have a good TA, they can really help you out. So that's something else that you probably should keep in mind. I don't know if all schools have discussion section periods. I think smaller schools, I feel like you wouldn't need to, just because if you have small classes, you can already kind of do that in class, but I don't really know. I can't really speak for that. So that's just how we do it here. As far as TAs go, there are some really awesome TAs and there are some really not so awesome TAs. It's just, you can, I guess, talk to friends and, you know, kind of find out what TAs are good and stuff, but it's really hard to do that. I wouldn't even bother. But TAs usually have office hours as well as the professors. If you don't know what office hours are, basically outside of class, professors and TAs set a specific day and a specific time period where you can go into their office or wherever they're holding office hours and talk to them about lecture or maybe some outside readings that you had to do or something like that. So, or usually they let you, if you need to and you can't make office hours, they let you set up an appointment. Sorry the lighting goes in and out. It's been raining today, so hopefully that's not too distracting. But yeah, so that is how office hours generally work. Have I ever been to office hours? I've only been to office hours probably like twice in my whole 3 years in college, and once was just to like turn in an assignment early, but I don't like the one-on-one attention, as you guys already know, so office hours makes me very uncomfortable. But if you're someone who loves to interact with the professor and you just are eager for knowledge, then totally take advantage of it, because it's pretty good and the professor will get to know you and probably, I don't know, be nicer. Okay, so in class there is like the kind of laptop versus handwritten notes kind of thing. Now, for the first 2 years, I was a handwritten note person, just because my laptop is really heavy and I just don't want to lug that thing around all day. But this quarter, I took all my notes on my computer, which I don't know if it's really helping or making any sort of difference. It's easier for me, but I think I still like handwriting better. I probably will keep using my laptop just because of the convenience, but I kind of feel like I absorb the information better when I handwrite it, but that's definitely a personal preference. So, you know, you could try out both if you want to. Just, you know, I don't know, just try them out. Alright, now some classes are going to have, well, I don't know, at least at my school, some classes have the lectures podcasted. So I'm sure you guys all know what podcasts are, but for us, only some classes, if the professor chooses to, they're podcasted and all like on our podcast website, I guess you could say it is. So that's really convenient if you happen to miss a class or if you happen to ditch a class, then you can re-listen to the lecture and hopefully get notes from there. Some classes are even better where they're video podcasted, so you can actually see what the professor is writing or the slides that he or she is showing, and then it's like you're actually there and you don't really need to go to class. Also, my school has this, I don't know, it's our school website that we use to, where the professors post like online notes and syllabi, I guess you could say, grades and that kind of thing. I think all schools use different sites, but yeah, so that is where we go, where they also post like reading assignments and stuff like that. TAs can post stuff on there as well. There's like a forum that we can use to talk to other students in our classes, which is pretty convenient. The professors usually kind of control what tools they want us to be able to use on the website, but I'm sure every school has something like that. It's really nice because along with the podcast, they usually, not all professors, but most professors I've had post some sort of online notes from the lecture, whether it's just an outline or it's like their full-on PowerPoint or slides or whatever. Generally speaking, they do post them, so it's a really good way to review for midterms and finals, so that's a good thing as well. Sorry, I kind of skipped this whole thing about classes, but GEs are the general education requirements for schools. I really should have mentioned this earlier, but GEs are separate from your major and minor classes. So GEs, generally speaking for us, are like math, science, just the very basic ones, sometimes language, sometimes other things. I have 6 colleges within my university, so each of the 6 colleges have different GEs, which is confusing. Most schools don't have that. I, of course, go to the complicated one. And so my college's GEs are pretty, there's a lot of them, but those are completely separate from my psych major requirements. So those classes do not coincide with the GEs. So you do have to complete both to graduate, but they're completely separate, if that makes any sense. Also, if you want to take declare a minor, then those classes are going to be separate as well. They might carry over, but they might not, or they're more likely not to, but that is an option as well. Most minors, I believe, are around 7 to 10 additional courses to complete a minor. I'm not entirely sure exactly, but I believe that is what the range is on average, so yeah. I hope that I covered pretty much everything about classes. I don't know if you guys really want me to talk about exams, because exams are really, those vary a lot from class to class. There's Scantron, there's Blue Books, there's, free response, there's a lot of different things depending on what kind of class it is, but that's all I have to say about classes. I hope that was helpful and cleared some things up if you were confused or didn't really know what was going on. That's all that I wrote down for my notes, so hopefully that covered it all. So thank you guys for watching. I will see you in my next video. Leave below on any other college topics you'd like me to talk about, and I will see you later. Bye!